Estela Casas is our guest this morning. It's Pink Ribbon Week on Mike and Tricia Mornings, the first day of Pink Ribbon Week, the 18th year that we've been doing this. And it's always been about mammograms and early detection being your best protection. A few minutes ago, we found that out from Estela. The early detection. It really did save your life, I think.
It did. Like I have two angels in my life. I have a lot of angels in my life.
Yeah.
But those two first ones are very important.
Yours was like much like Tricia's was inadvertent kind of early detection kind of thing.
Yes.
Right. It's not like you were doing the self-breast exams and you found something.
Yeah. It's called incidental. Incidental when by coincidence and by incident you find it, and I didn't find it, and I've always advocated for breast self exams. Apparently it was pretty far back near my chest wall.
So you never would have felt it.
Maybe I never would have felt it unless it got bigger. So it was stage 1 and stage 2. So that means it was a centimeter, and the other one was 2 centimeters.
Well, I prefer to think that it wasn't incidental. I prefer to think that it was something else.
No, it's a God incidence.
Yes,
it's a God incidence.
That's what I think.
That everything, God lines up things for you.
Especially in your situation where it was like, I mean, where a doctor out of the blue suggests a tetanus shot. I mean, you really. Somebody will suggest that when you step on a rusty nail or something.
Yeah, but not just to have.
It's not just because, because,
absolutely.
Things that kind of stuff.
Reason. It's a God incidence.
And so you went through this journey, and then not long ago, a couple of months ago, you decided to just chuck the wigs.
Toss the wig. So I had a really big day. It was October 5th or 6th of last year when UTEP was one of several gold nuggets. And it was a big news conference, and it was a big deal. And I remember that day. It was a Thursday when I, jumped in the shower, and my hair started falling off, and I saw it at the, bottom of the shower. And then I started blow drying my hair, and hair flying all over the place.
How long into the chemotherapy was that?
This was the second chemo. It was 19 days after the first chemotherapy. And then I started blow drying it, and hair all over the place.
That must have been heartbreaking.
And then I started straightening it, and the hair got stuck on the straight.
Yeah.
I said, this is it. I'm just going to wear my wig. And that was the first time I wore my wig.
Yeah.
And
but that was tough, right? To admit to yourself that I'm going to have to do this.
Chills. Yeah. And I was prepared because I had already had the wig shaped and everything. But when you actually have to put that on, it's pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
And,
well, it's our society. There's something about hair, especially for women.
Of course. Yeah. And so maybe 2 weeks later, a week later, all of my hair was gone. Everybody says, do you lose it ever? You lose from your toes to your head. Everything is gone.
Like even your eyebrows?
Eyebrows,
eyelashes,
everything.
I wore fake eyelashes for a long time, and I penciled in my eyebrows, and I wore wigs.
Oh wow!
Absolutely. Everything.
It's really sobering. It's really sobering.
I knew about the wigs. I mean, everybody knows about the wigs, but I didn't know everything else as well.
Oh yeah.
I'd wake up in the morning, and you go, who is that? Who is that person looking back at me? It's tough. It's a tough journey, and you're going through it, so you have to be strong, and you have to get through it. But the people around you, I would come in, hey, how are you? And I would see their face change.
I know.
And
that's hard.
That's hard to see that.
Because then you feel like you have to help them, and you're like, yo, I'm the one that's going through this.
Right.
Stop looking at me so that I have to take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough on them, and I feel really bad that I put my kids through this, but they're stronger for it now.
Well, you didn't put them through this.
I didn't put them through this, but they went through it, and it's just something really tough on the family and the people around you who love you, but we get through it.
But did you find ways to make yourself laugh through all of that?
You have to find humor in this.
Like, did you draw really weird eyebrows? And, just things like that, just to make people laugh.
No chola. Fortunately, I had that. It's called microblading. And I'd had that a couple of months before. Again, it's a God incidence. I said, my eyebrows are kind of thin. I got to fill them in. And I had that done like 2 months ago. So I had a map to fill in the eyebrows.
Okay.
So maybe that's why people didn't notice so much.
Yeah.
But I could just go in and pencil them. But it was hard. I had the nose hairs. Your nose hairs fall out.
Everything falls out. Yeah.
And I had runny noses. I had bloody noses. I had a bloody nose maybe 2 or 3 times on the set. That I was still with Rick. Rick was still working with me. That I had to walk off the set. And the fake eyelashes and my eyes would water a lot too because they were dry and they would overcompensate. So it's it's an interesting journey.
And what about the decision to take off
the wig? Well,
for television.
I had come into the station and would take off my wig, and everybody would see me without my wig because my hair was coming in. It was maybe less than half a centimeter, and it was sticking out. And I thought, I'm just ready to take this off. It was just hot, and I couldn't adjust it as well
anymore. And this summer was like ungodly 100-degree days. I mean, how many do we have? 40-something?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm just going to take it off. So that's why I decided to do a story and talk about, what it feels like to see yourself in the mirror and say, who are you?
And how was it taking it off and then
liberating?
They did the piece, right? They did the piece on your TV station, and then they came back to the desk, and there you are with Doppler Dave, and you have the wig in your hand.
Yes.
Was that?
It was liberating.
Did it take a lot of guts?
No.
Not at all? You were ready for that,
I was ready for that. I didn't, some people say, oh, you should have showed us your bald head.
Yeah.
No.
Some things you got to keep to yourself.
Something you got to keep to yourself.
Yeah.
Now that I look back, but in that story, I did run a few pictures of me bald, and that was really sobering. When you look back, you go, oh my God. And the story that I did on Thursday, looking back at the year, and I saw myself, I looked totally different. Yeah, that's pretty sobering.
Was it?
Yeah. But I'm here, and I'm well. I feel good at this point. I don't know if I can say I'm cancer free. I guess I can say I'm cancer free. I don't know if there are microscopic amounts of cancer in my body, but the CT scan says that I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, what's the rule of thumb? Is it like, okay, it's got to be a year, or what is that?
I think it's every 3 months. I'm going back in November to see if I need to get on a pill. That's what's scary. Because you are attacking the problem when you are on that journey and doing the chemo and doing the immunotherapy. But what's next?
Yes.
I don't know what's next.
Yeah.
I do know what's next. Live every day to the fullest.
Absolutely.
And every day is a gift and an opportunity to make a difference and to just live and love and laugh and all of that stuff.
Right. And play boob spelled backwards is boob at one of your, appearances.
Michael.
That's living.
You're gonna have to give me a little thumb drive or whatever, so I can just play that and I walk into it. Yeah.
It'll be her batter up music.
But I don't have to flash anybody, right? I'm not gonna have to flash anybody. No, let's not do that.
I mean, unless you really want to live, I'm not gonna tell you how to live.
No, unless everybody else wants to live. No.